In one of his most recent roles, Wilson plays an artist with his own television program, a la Bob Ross. Although his role, and hair and wardrobe, was inspired by the real late painter, the plot, including his rivalry with an up-and-coming artist, is entirely fictional. Shop now. Many fans know Wilson from this classic comedy about buddies who sneak into weddings in the hopes of making romantic connections. Much of the film, including the "lock it up" scene in the line, "I think we only use 10% of our hearts," was improvised by the actor. Shop now. Wilson co-wrote and starred in this film about a dysfunctional family reuniting after years of chaos, and it earned him an Academy Award nomination. He turned down a role in Ocean's 11 for this film, and so did Danny Glover and Owen's brother, Luke Wilson. Shop now. Wilson and Vaughn reunited for this comedy about salesmen landing internships at Google, and learning that competing with tech-savvy youngsters for a job isn't as easy as they thought. The actors starred alongside 100 extras who were real-life Google employees at the time. Shop now. Wes Anderson cast his longtime friend as Coach Skip in this animated tale of foxes versus farmers. Wilson, along with his co-stars George Clooney and Meryl Streep, recorded their parts outside a traditional studio. They went into a stable in a forest to increase the spontaneity, Anderson once explained. Shop now. In yet another hit film by Wes Anderson, Wilson plays a concierge-turned-secret society member helping to solve a mysterious murder. He bonded with co-star Adrian Brody on set, so much so that after claiming he never bowled before, Wilson asked the fellow actor to go bowling one night, and beat him in a game that decided who would pay for their drinks. Shop now. Playing the father of a boy born with Treacher-Collins syndrome, Wilson's performance in this film was especially emotional. When he came on set as Augie after going through makeup, he became Augie. "It was easy to love and feel protective toward this brave, little dignified person," he told Today of co-star Jacob Tremblay. Shop now. Though Kevin Raleigh was a supporting role in this beloved comedy, Wilson made the part entirely his own. In fact, he managed to improvise most of his lines as the wealthy ex-fiancée of Terry Polo's character, Pam. Shop now. Wilson reprised his role in the much-anticipated sequel, which shows the families of a couple meeting for the very first time. Not surprisingly, he had a great time filming all of the Fockers films. "Ben Stiller and I have worked together so much that anytime we're in a scene, we were always kind of laughing and stuff together," he once told Cinema Blend. Shop now. In the final movie of the Fockers trilogy, Wilson shared an intimate scene with Barbra Streisand that had audiences cracking up. "To be able to say you kissed Barbra Streisand, that's pretty major. That's one you can check off the to-do list," he joked to Cinema Blend. Shop now. In an animated classic that defined the childhoods of many, Wilson voices Lightning McQueen, a car making his way to a big race. In a rare move for Pixar, a company that usually promotes its projects without drawing attention to the voices behind its characters, most of the film's marketing was centered around Wilson. Shop now. Wilson reprised his iconic role after the first was a hit, this time taking Lightning McQueen to the World Grand Prix. The film earned a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Animated Film, the very first Pixar movie to ever be nominated in the category. Shop now. Feeling pushed out of the sport by a new generation of race cars, Lightning McQueen sets out to prove he still has what it takes to be a champion. Wilson was able to tap into his animated character's emotions, thanks to NASCAR legend Jeff Gordon, who served as a consultant on the film. Shop now. Stiller and Wilson co-starred together again in this hit comedy about male models turned secret agents. Fun fact: Wilson's memorable long blonde hair in the movie was a wig because he was filming behind enemy lines at the time and had to keep his real hair short. Shop now. 15 years later, the stars reunited for the sequel and announced the film by dressing up as their characters and hitting the Paris runway. Wilson was pleasantly surprised by the positive reaction, comparing it to a rock concert. In this rom-com, Wilson and Jennifer Aniston play newlyweds whose lives change forever after adopting a troublemaking puppy. In addition to working with 22 different dogs throughout the film, he also got to perform alongside his real-life parents, who played his characters' parents. Shop now. Wilson's career took a dramatic turn with this intense film about a pilot being shot down over war-torn Bosnia. To prepare for the role, the actor rode in a jet at supersonic speeds. Though he separated his shoulder during a stunt, he was back filming more physical scenes the next day. Shop now. In another role that strayed from Wilson's usual light-hearted comedies, he portrays a father who finds himself and his family caught in the middle of an international coup. He later told Collider, "I guess the thing that attracted me to the script was that it didn't feel too action-y. It felt grounded in believability." Shop now. In this comedy, the actor took on the role of a playwright whose life goes awry when his project leads to an unexpected love triangle. Director Peter Bogdanovich originally put the film on hold after his first choice for the lead, John Ritter, passed away. After Wes Anderson introduced Bogdanovich to Wilson years later, he decided to bring it back. Shop now. This buddy cop comedy follows Stiller and Wilson's characters as they catch criminals in their red and white Ford Gran Torino. When Wilson's character sings, "Don't Give Up on Us Baby," the voice was actually that of David Soul, who played the original Ken Hutchinson in the 1975 television series. Shop now. Wilson co-wrote this crime comedy with Wes Anderson about friends planning to pull off a robbery. It also marked his on-screen debut and allowed him to act opposite his brother, Luke. When the film didn't perform at the box office, he considered joining the Marines and giving up his budding acting career. Shop now. Wilson, along with Jack Black and Steve Martin, make the world of bird-watching hilarious in this comedy about three pals who team up to find the rarest species. The travel turned out to be a bonus, these gorgeous locations they took us to. "We were sort of in the Yukon dodging grizzles, in Tofino, seeing bald eagles," he told the Orlando Sentinel. Shop now. Wilson starred with his brother yet again in this comedy about an ex-con who gets a job at a retirement home. It was a passion project for Luke, who also wrote and directed the film. In fact, he was able to raise money for the project by claiming he was Owen. Shop now. In one of Wilson's only thriller roles, he plays a serial killer targeting self-destructive people. It was on the set of this film that the actor met Sheryl Crow, and the two went on to date for 2 years following its release. Shop now. Wilson and Jackie Chan teamed up for this Western comedy about a man and a train robber's unlikely friendship. They paid homage to the 1994 classic, The Legend of Drunken Master, with a scene about their characters learning how to blow bubbles. Shop now. For the sequel, the hilarious duo are out for revenge after the murder of Chan's character's father and travel to England to track down the killer. When Wilson is hit by a carriage, he says, "Hey, I'm walking here," a reference to Midnight Cowboy from 1969. Shop now. In this comedy about one of the biggest bank heists in history, Wilson stars opposite Zach Galifianakis, Kristen Wiig, Jason Sudeikis, and more big-name comedians. The film is based on the real 1997 Loomis Fargo bank robbery in Charlotte, North Carolina, in which $17.3 million was stolen. Shop now. The actor also worked with Jason Sudeikis on Hall Pass. Wilson plays a husband who is given one chaotic week of no rules. The actor also contributed to the script and thought up one of the final scenes in his flash-forward scene. Shop now. In this mysterious rom-com, Wilson plays a man who falls in love with a woman convinced the world is a computer simulation. "I'm trying to think of something that would be interesting to say about the way we prepared for the film," he told Polygon. "It was really just Salma Hayek and I talking." Shop now. In this baseball-centric rom-com, Wilson plays Matty Reynolds, a pitcher for the Washington Nationals who gets into a love triangle with Reese Witherspoon and Paul Rudd's characters. Coincidentally, he wasn't the first Wilson brother to play Witherspoon's love interest. She and Luke famously co-starred in Legally Blonde in 2001. Shop now. Freeze a crowd, as Wilson's character learns in this comedy about a best man who overstays his welcome with his newlywed friends. Towards the end of the film, the actor's uncle makes a brief cameo as a white-haired man named Joe. He also appeared in a quick scene in Wedding Crashers. Shop now. Wilson plays travel writer Herb St. Sazerac, who honors the late editor of the French Dispatch with a story about a cycling tour of the city of Ennui. The actor saw many familiar faces on set. It marked his 8th collaboration with Wes Anderson, as well as his second film with co-stars Adrien Brody and Léa Seydoux, following Midnight in Paris. Shop now. In this mystery crime drama, Wilson shines as Coy Harlingen, a man who is forced to leave his family, go into hiding, and become a police informant. It marked the second movie he starred in with Reese Witherspoon, who filmed all of her scenes in just 4 days. Shop now. Wilson reunited with his Wedding Crashers co-star Rachel McAdams, as well as a stacked cast that reunited him with his The Darjeeling Limited co-star Adrien Brody, for this sci-fi romance about a man who finds himself back in the 1920s every midnight. Shop now. Both Wilson and Stiller show off their serious sides in this indie drama. They both play drug addicts navigating love, life, and careers in New York City. The film was based on the true story of the personal struggles of Jerry Stahl, a successful TV writer behind popular series like Twin Peaks and Elf. Shop now. As pilot Ned Plimpton, Wilson's character attempts to help an oceanographer track down a shark that supposedly killed his partner. Wes Anderson originally wanted to co-write this film with Wilson, but the actor's schedule was too busy to make it happen, so he starred in the adventure comedy instead. Shop now. Wilson unpacked his sentimental side in this tale about 3 brothers who travel across India together following their father's death. After finding it difficult to maintain his character's limp throughout filming, he decided to put a lime in his shoe. The move worked, and he was able to act more convincingly. Shop now. Fans of this classic comedy know the star as Jedediah Smith, a cowboy in the museum's Wild West diorama. Stiller and Wilson filmed separately, with Stiller acting opposite a toothpick and Wilson recording his lines 3 months later. Wilson's role was initially intended to be a quick cameo, but it was expanded after test audiences fell in love with his character. Shop now. In one of his more recent roles, Wilson plays a man who finds himself unexpectedly married to the world's biggest pop star, played by Jennifer Lopez. It marks the second time this pair worked together, the first being in the horror thriller Anaconda in 1997. Shop now. Wilson plays a budget bodyguard in this dramedy about a man hired to protect 3 high schoolers from their bullies. Filming physical scenes was harder than expected. The actor was accidentally punched by co-star Alex Ross during one of the final fight scenes. Shop now.